Season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. Or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free. I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. Or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free. I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code.
All right, 8 o'clock, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Lots to do. Rick Delgado sitting right there. He's got the news. Vinnie Mac is in the house, sitting right here to my left.
That's right. How you doing?
He's got some news and some thoughts on some things as well. Aaron and Fran, of course, holding it down as always. Glad you're here. Hope you had an absolutely fantastic day. I want to say hello to everybody, our friends in the chat on whatever you're watching. Rumble, YouTube, Getter, X, Facebook, YouTube, X. I think I said those already.
You said X twice.
Thank you. Welcome back. Welcome in. Vinnie Mac, how are you?
I'm doing great. I just had a large Dunkin' Donuts coffee, so I think I'm ready. Fired up.
I have a large Tim Hortons coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Tim Hortons is out there, and they like to sponsor the show. I love your coffee.
Oh, okay. We'll take that.
I love Tim Hortons. Why don't you drink that as opposed to that Dunkin' Donuts stuff?
I will. I'm going to convert immediately.
Thank you. I like Dunkin' Donuts as well, by the way, too.
But it's no Tim Hortons.
All right.
I mean,
You know which one I hate is the one all the kids like. Ugh.
Oh, can't stand it.
Delgado drinks.
Can't stand that.
The
burnt
I
coffee?
I don't even drink coffee.
Little energy drinks he drinks.
My little double shots.
Those are not good for you.
All right.
Those are great for you. You know, I can drink 8 of those a day and not even blink.
Come on. Too much. No, you can't do that.
Why not?
Your heart's going,
No, it doesn't. I could drink all that and go right to sleep. I have
Really?
No problem.
Oh, my
Yes.
goodness.
I always knew there was something off with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you?
Being brought up Puerto Rican gives you that.
Did you know that Delgado was Puerto Rican?
Ay, caramba. Ay, caramba. I had no idea.
No, you have no idea.
Boca
Listening-
cerrada, no entro moscas.
Yeah, exactly. What he just said. I have no idea what he just said.
Neither does he, by the
I
way.
have an idea. I only know proverbs in Spanish, so they think I'm like a philosopher. Quien busca ella.
No, because I was brought up and I drank, it was either you drank
Bustelo.
a lot of Pepsi or a lot of Coke. We were a Coke family and our cousins were a Pepsi family.
Wow.
I can't drink Pepsi when I'm at their house, but I can guzzle down a 2-liter bottle of Coke and I'll be fine.
It's a serious soft drink house.
Well, that was growing up. Now I don't do that.
How did you get transfer into Starbucks high energy, whatever those drinks are?
Somebody said, "Oh, it'll give you a nice jolt." So it was like one of my first bike races. I'm like, "Oh, I found it," and I just guzzled it. It didn't give me a jolt, but I like the way it tastes, and I've been drinking it ever since.
Okay. Wow. All right. There you go. Very good. So you learn something here.
Yeah.
Every night.
It's an educational angle here on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, I guess we could talk politics as well and some things in the news. So we'll talk about that as well. Aaron and Fran, I think I said, but they're holding it down. Harry on the highway is on his way to Arizona. I think he's on a plane right now on his way to AmFest, TPUSA, where President Trump will deliver the keynote on Sunday.
Wow.
Did you see Trump's little press conference he had?
We played multiple clips from it yesterday.
You know what?
What'd you think?
The thing is, it's so amazing about this guy. Biden barely can get a word out. Hasn't spoken for a year, really.
Yeah.
At a real press conference. And Trump just gets out there, winging questions. What do you got? What do you got? He calls on everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Hour 40.
And then he's got like real answers. And when he doesn't have an answer, he's like, I can't answer that question. What are you, an idiot? Bombing Iran. Okay, let me know. But at 12:10 tomorrow, we're going to be bombing that. I told Israel to do that. Yeah, that's a good question. But he's just so honest, and it's so refreshing after 4 years of nothing burgers.
Yeah, total nothing burgers. I mean, I guess Biden was in front of a microphone. Remember I said, I should watch it, see if it's a crowd. I didn't even bother watching. I mean, I just...
he doesn't say anything.
What do you call it? Teleprompter went down on him.
Yeah.
Blew out.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we heard. Yeah.
So you wouldn't have had much for Crazy Town.
Yeah.
It would have been one of the shortest ones.
I mean, the craziest of crazy towns right now is John Kirby in this position that they continue to take on these drones. I mean, it's no pun intended. I droned on about it all show last night, so I'm not going to do it again tonight. But I did see this article in the Washington Times. House Intelligence Committee gets classified briefing on mystery drones.
Okay.
And I thought, okay. And I read the second paragraph that said the lawmakers said they were largely satisfied with the answers from the Defense, Homeland, and Justice Departments, but called for more transparency to ease growing public concerns. And that's all I read.
So in other words, they're confirming Kirby is lying. Saying that.
Well, how do you read that into? Well, how do you read that into?
Well, because he claims that it's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to see here. It's just people buying them here, people buying them. They're just flying them around. It's all it's all on the up and up. Obviously, that's not it. If it's got to be a classified briefing, and they come out of it saying, "Okay, we're satisfied with what you're saying," that seems to make sense. In other words, what Kirby's saying completely doesn't make sense.
Well, no, that's actually not what. At least that's not how the article lays it out. It says Representative Himes of Connecticut said they were told that any drones cited were not operated by the federal government, and no laws were being broken by drones that were being flown into the area. I mean, that's the same nonsense we heard last night.
You got to parse the words. Remember, parse the words?
There were more than 800,000 registered drones throughout the country, he said, and possibly millions and millions more that aren't registered with the FAA, so identifying who is operating the craft is extremely difficult. We have no idea who owns these drones, assuming these drones are, in fact, drones, he told reporters. Again, everybody who studied this has arrived at the conclusion that most of these sightings are commercial aircraft. The Biden administration has spent several days trying to quash the fervor over the sightings of the mysterious drones over New Jersey and elsewhere on the East Coast, with officials insisting that purported drones did not have malicious intent and were not operated by foreign powers. And again, it just defies any logic to me that this is what they're trying to get by with when people who have lived in the same area for 30, 40, 50 years have never seen anything like this and are walking outside now and all of a sudden seeing all this and they're supposed to believe that it's just fine.
The same people that brought us the Chinese balloon. I mean, how do you believe anything they're saying? I do feel a little bad for Kirby because he gets on, and I saw this just before I left to come here to do the show. He was going on Brett, and he had this look on his face where he was before he went talking, and I was on camera. He's like, he's struggling. He's like, oh man, I got to come up with something here to start talking about. Well, but if they did what they did with the balloon, how do you believe anything any of them say? I mean, I certainly don't. Most of the country doesn't.
Yeah, I don't believe anything he says because
me neither.
And you know what? I don't feel sorry for him either. Dude, you took the job. You can also say, you know what? I am not going out with that BS again. Give me something better to say, and that's it.
That's a fair point.
My ass is on the line. I got to get a job after you guys get kicked out. I don't have Biden bucks scattered across 20 different companies that I can tap into. You know, and plus, he just looks like he looks, you know what he looks like? He looks like a freaking Muppet. The way his face contorts, and he's like, well, it's like, what the hell's going on with this guy?
He does.
He looks like a moron. And again, Damon points out, he's an admiral. He's smarter than this. He's supposed to.
That's hard to believe. It really is.
You know, Vin, you've lived wherever you've lived for 40 years, whatever it is. If you walked out in your backyard one night and looked up and saw clearly something that you haven't seen in all those years, and then you saw it again the next night, and then again the next night, and for 30 days, and then everybody is telling you, no, it's nothing, don't worry about it, it's all totally normal, these are all just, it's all just commercial people, whatever, just flying their drone, and you'd be like, well, geez, I lived here 40 years, it's never happened, and now all of a sudden 30 days it's happened every night, and you're telling me it just happens to be?
You ever see like a helicopter fly around your house sometimes? If the cops are looking for someone, and very rarely you'll see that happen, but you do, you're like, oh man, something's going on.
Yeah.
And something's going on here, right?
And then everybody gets online, you see it floating into your, on your Ring doorbell alerts, they go off, oh, anybody know anything about this helicopter circling the area, blah, blah, blah. This is not it. I'm not buying it. I don't care.
By the way,
care what they say.
The people who own Ring doorbells, the comments on those. Have you ever seen the alerts you get?
Yeah.
I've got brown water. Has anyone else got brown water coming out of their sinks? It's like, dude, do we need to know everything? I mean, some of it is just mind-numbing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
I love those things.
That comes on those Ring doorbell
I can sit down and read those things. They're hilarious.
I enjoy them on the weekends. I get gunshots or fireworks very frequently. Right?
Oh, it's just it's unbelievable the things you get on those things. Yeah. But this is the position that we're taking, I guess, and the lawmakers come out of this hearing today saying, okay, we're mostly satisfied with what we heard.
Right. When they fly over military bases, which there's been a lot of that, I mean, come on. That alone should set off alarm for everybody. They're flying over military. Look, that's exactly what the Chinese balloon did.
Well, remember, Kirby told us they didn't fly over, and then all of a sudden with Brett Baer last night, he said, oh, well, some of them have, and again, we're taking a look at that. That's different, he said. So which gives? Because like 3 days before that, you said there was no flying over military bases. Then on Brett Baer, he says there was some flying over military bases, and we're looking at separately, he said. That was exactly his words. We're looking at that separately. But you said earlier in the week that there wasn't flying. So I think the whole thing just defies any logic that anyone would believe.
Well,
even if it is, and in the end, it's absolutely nothing, to just believe that just all of a sudden this is just happening in these locations after all these years, no one's ever seen it, and here it is. It just defies all logic.
Yeah.
It's consistent with where they've been from the day they did the Afghan withdrawal and just lied to us about all that stuff, to the Chinese balloon, to this now, and just about every other like real important thing that this administration's been involved in. And they've given us some story that just turns out not to be true. You find out years later, of course. This is this consistent. And if this is a nothing burger, if it turns out to be, an innocent thing, which I don't think it is, how can we all not be suspicious that it's a worst case scenario here because they're going to lie again?
Yeah.
They're the same people that told us there's no inflation, that prices aren't up, that gas prices are good, that the Afghan withdrawal was perfect. It was great. It's the best thing we ever did. These are the same people. The Chinese balloon, that's not a spy balloon. Boom, they shoot it down. There's a freaking server in it downloading information to China over our military bases. A server. Not like, a handheld walkie-talkie with, talking to this thing, a server.
Right.
I mean, come on.
And to think that everybody in your neighborhood just got a drone on the same day and decided to fly it at the same time.
Like we just missed the Black Friday sale at Best Buy.
Right. It's like how did I miss this?
Those are big drones, though. That's not your neighborhood drone.
Right. That's a good point, Vin. You noticed that, didn't you?
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. That's a good point you point out that John Kirby doesn't seem to get, that we all have IQs higher than 6.
Yeah, and he still hasn't answered why there was a swarm of them up to about 30 following a U.S. Coast Guard speedboat. Why did that happen?
Totally. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see.
Yeah. Well, thank you, John.
They decided that people decided that's what they're going to do this month, right. Delgado.
Yeah, and I guess
the speedboat chasers.
Everybody who has a boat or a yacht is hanging out just off the coast of Jersey, and they all decide, hey, let's fly our drones at the same time and head into shore. You know,
Michael Schellenberger did great reporting on a lot of things this year with the FBI and some of the weaponization of stuff. Schellenberger and Matt Taibbi. Go look at Schellenberger. His coverage of this. He's right there with us. He doesn't believe a single word of it.
Yeah.
He says, well, everything they're saying is lies. They are lying. They said they looked at all 6,000 drone reports. Lying, he says. Called it out today on Fox News. All right, 13 past the hour, just getting started. Good thing we weren't going to drone on about the drones anymore.
Yeah,
the whole segment. Drives me crazy, though.
Well, it just this type of reporting drives you crazy.
You just want to shoot it down. Just shoot down the...
Give me the screen here, Aaron, if you can, and sound. Since we're in the break, I'll play it here.
Okay.
Nothing?
No sound from you.
Great. Glad we're doing it now.
I can basically say what he's saying.
You know what? I think you're a little more clear.
Thank you. I got a little more accuracy in what I'm talking about. But hey, people want to hear about the drones on social media. People are asking about it.
All right, let's try again.
Last week, you had both DoD spokesperson John Kirby and Mayorkas, the head of DHS, insist emphatically that there had been no drone flyovers over U.S. military bases. Well, that night, actually on Friday night and then Saturday morning, there was a flyover of the Wright-Patterson Air Base in Ohio. And in fact, it's been widely reported. So it's curious why they said that. Yesterday, then Kirby came out and said, well, of course, we all know that there had been these drone flyovers. He also said on Friday to Martha McCallum, he said, Kirby said that they were investigating these cases. And then yesterday, he said that they had closely examined 5,000 cases. Are we to be led to believe that they examined 5,000 cases? 5,000, it's actually 6,000 according to FBI, but 6,000 people were interviewed, asked where they were, what direction they were pointed in. It just strains credulity for them to say these things. It really undermines the trust, and that's why you see conspiracy theories emerging into the vacuum.
The last couple of days, though, he's been emphatic in what he's trying to relay, that he thinks they're innocuous. Here's a few mayors from New Jersey on what they think. Watch.
You can say these are small aircraft. You can say these are manned. They're not. So I think if anyone was to take away from this that the drones aren't flying, they also must believe that the border is closed. I just don't want to hear any longer that we don't know where they're coming from, because you should know that.
Over 100-something, a couple hundred mayors that are all waving a flag saying this is a big deal. This is certainly not normal. It's an abnormal amount of drones, and the sizes of them are just huge.
I want you to address that. But what Kirby told us a half hour ago, he believes it's a combination of drones, airplanes, and people seeing stars at night.
Well, what's most incredible is that there's no anomalies. In other words, they've eliminated all anomalies. I mean, that's astounding. I mean, there's no way that you could do that in such a short period of time. I mean, the whole thing is anomalous. The drones are over air bases. You know, we had mayors reporting 2 SUV-sized drones over his house. Another mayor said he was coming to Fox News, walked out of his house, and there was a drone hovering right in front of them. There's no question there's a lot of mistaken,
Yeah, it's just crazy. The position is crazy. All right, 17 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night. Glad you're in. Slick's going to be here to do some sports. He'll get here about 8:30 or so. Rick Delgado's here. He's going to do the news here in a second. Vinnie Mac is sitting in. He's got some thoughts. Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. And just to put a wrapper on this whole drone thing, we just played Michael Schellenberger, who appeared on Fox today during the commercial break. And I mean, again, I just don't understand. You don't have to be, no pun intended here, a rocket scientist to figure out that there is nothing normal about what people in New Jersey and up and down the East Coast are seeing. And for John Kirby in the government's position right now to be like, there's nothing to see here, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing abnormal, there's no threat, and maybe there's not a threat, but to say that this is just people out there flying their new little toys around that everybody and they've all just got the oversized version, so don't you all worry.
And some are manned.
I mean, it's just,
there's no coincidence.
It just defies all common sense.
What makes sense to me, this is the one piece that makes sense to me. All of these are flying all over the country now. They're not just in New Jersey. They're flying to lots of different spots. And they're trying to, in my view, this is what makes sense to me, find something. They're trying to sniff out something. All of these sort of conspiracy theorists that there was a radioactive leak somewhere, there's a dirty bomb somewhere, there's a weapon, gas, poisonous gas, something like that. They make sense to me because if that was really happening, what would our government do? They get these, sniffing drones out there to try and detect these things. They tell us it's nothing because they don't want to scare us that there's some bad thing possibly sitting around, in our country because of the terrorists and other people that Biden let in through open borders. It all comes around, by the way, to that narrative. But that's the only thing that makes sense. Every other explanation I've heard does not make sense to me. But putting things in the air to try and detect something bad because they believe something bad got out, and this is how they do it, makes sense to me. And the fact that they're not telling us any of this also makes sense to me because they don't want anyone to be alarmed. They'd rather have us speculate about this crazy stuff, but they don't want to get us alarmed about it. That's logical, though. If the military were to be involved in something like that, what do you think they would do? They would probably send up drones that had that capability. They use them to find chemical weapons plants, in countries like Syria and Iran and other places. That's how they find these things. In many ways, they use these drones. They detect in the way they detect these things. I'm not sure how they do it, but they detect it, and then they go bomb it. So it makes sense to me. What do you think about that?
House Foreign Affairs Committee Chair McCall has some thoughts. Here's what he said today.
Okay. I know you were just talking about Afghanistan, but on the drone signings, I did ask you, do you have any idea what line of questioning you all are going with? The public and lawmakers, obviously, we all have a lot of questions about what those are.
Yeah, we want answers. The response that I'm getting is that we don't know whose drones these are. I was with the NASA administrator, Bill Nelson. He said that these drones have been reported over military sites, military bases. I would not think those are friendly. I would think those are adversarial. In fact, NASA seems to be picking up more than our military is with respect to the drones. So I think Congress is going to pursue this. I know the House Intelligence Committee is having a hearing on this. We need to identify who is behind these drones. My judgment, based on my experience, is that those that are over our military sites are adversarial and most likely are coming from the People's Republic of China.
Do you think you'll be satisfied with what you hear today?
Probably not. I think they're going to say they don't know. And that's a concern in and of itself, that if we have drones flying around military bases and we can't identify where they came from or who's responsible for them. I know there are a lot of commercial drones out there, and Secretary Mayorkas has talked about this. That's fine, but the ones flying over our military bases, by definition, I would say are adversarial. We need to know who is behind that because I believe they're spy drones.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty interesting coming from him, huh?
I mean, I got to be honest with you. Given your comments before I played that clip and that clip, I tend to lean more towards your comments, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course.
That it's more of a serious situation like you describe, and you've heard others describe. As a matter of fact, and I don't think it's any wackadoo. Here was a segment this morning on Good Day New York. Here in New York, I believe this guy is from New Jersey, a lawmaker from New Jersey. Listen to this.
Information has not been forthcoming, and it's this lack of transparency, in my opinion, that's doing nothing but fueling conspiracy theories online.
Do you have any idea what it could be? Or which side it could be, where it's coming from?
Yeah, I can tell you what it's not. We know for a fact it's not little green men, and more than likely it's not a foreign adversary, because they would be able to figure out how to turn off the blinking lights.
Exactly.
These drones are huge.
They're not trying to hide
We had a mayor
themselves.
yesterday on the call with the White House telling them that he had 6-foot drones hovering over his house. Yet they continue to tell us, we don't know what we're talking about. It's misidentification. Certainly there's some misidentification probably going on, but I could assure you that we are seeing drones in New Jersey all over the place.
All right, so Bethany Frankel, I know she's not like, the New York Times, but she says that she has like some kind of contact at the Pentagon, and that it has something to do with radioactive material in New Jersey. What are you hearing?
So here's what I know. I know that we were told by our state police that we have assets over our critical infrastructure. Now, depending on your point of view, that's either concerning or comforting. I think it's comforting because it's probably us listening and watching. We also know that we have drones that are flying in a grid-like pattern. In my opinion, they're looking for something. What might they be looking for? Well,
now listen.
Potentially, we're aware of a threat that came in through Port Newark. Maybe that's radioactive material. There was and there is an alert that's out right now that radioactive material in New Jersey has gone missing on December 2nd. It was a shipment. It arrived at its destination. The container was damaged and it was empty. So potentially we're looking for that.
Stop right there, Mayor, because that's very important information. And that came from a credible source.
That came from the U.S. government.
And so
Not a credible.
it's missing?
Missing.
And they think it's in New Jersey, or it could be anywhere?
It was lost in New Jersey in transit. And again, this is just an example of what I think that we're sniffing for. I think we do have the assets that can go up and fly around and sniff things, which is why we're not seeing the uptick we used to see in Belleville anymore. It's kind of moving, but we're seeing alerts that it's happening now in Pennsylvania.
And that's right about the time that the drone sightings began, right?
Yeah, drone sightings began about 4 weeks ago.
Okay, so when you take a look at this, if this information is indeed credible, why wouldn't the government say, it's us?
That's the crazy part about this. We've gotten very little information. Even yesterday on that call with the White House, literally mayors were told, you guys are seeing things. There's no credibility to this. We have one mayor, like I said, had drones over his house. I mean, we're no longer going to stand for not hearing the truth. I mean, our state government is failing us. They're not getting the answers from the federal government. And even though yesterday they told us that there's nothing to see here, today there's a top secret briefing going on in Congress. Well, what are they being told that we weren't told yesterday?
Real quick, did you know yesterday when you were on that call about this missing radioactive activity or merchandise, or did you know that this morning after the call?
I was made aware of it yesterday morning. I did raise my hand. We weren't allowed to speak. I did raise my hand, was not called on to get that question answered.
So
that's from Good Day New York this morning.
Okay.
Channel 5 here in New York. That's not some Looney Tune show that no one's ever heard of some guy just spouting off crazy nonsense.
Right. The only problem I have are his dates. He said December 2nd, it was reported that it was missing. But those drones started weeks before that.
Well, one thought, we got time for
maybe like a week before that.
2 weeks.
Okay, but how does that affect the
timeline? Because he said it was reported missing on December 2nd. That's when it was checked into Port Newark.
Do you think no one knew about it, though, before?
Maybe it went missing before that, and they knew it went missing, and it didn't come out until it was checked in that it was gone.
Stuff like that just does not go missing.
Right. That's an interesting little tidbit.
I got some thoughts on this when we come back.
All right, live from Studio 6P. We're back right after this. Chat. What's going on? Wherever you're watching, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, thumbs up, or whatever you're watching, whatever platform you're on. Make sure you become a member, follower, whatever they ask. Make sure you head over to livefromstudio6b.com as well. Make sure you sign up to be a member there. Whether you have a Facebook or Google account, you can sign up right through that. Sign in. Hello, Queen Victoria on X. Welcome on in, my friends. Tweet Potato on X.
I get some good information from our fans. Z sent me a message, and she had nailed that radioactive material leak. She literally messaged me that a few minutes before we brought that up, and she's done this many times. Like the fan base is on it. They are on the information.
Tommy Viper, what's going on? What's going on? Dave on X. Iverson, what's going on? Child of the King, $20 super chat. Thank you very much, peeps. Please don't be surprised to learn our government has lost nukes. We've had 4 years of their incompetence, so we know they're capable of very little, including telling the truth.
Yes.
I saw a post about a week ago from a industrial drone pilot that said that the flight pattern looks very similar to when you do LiDAR scanning.
Oh.
So that kind of works.
Those patterns have been reported. So anything with the pattern's not random.
I mean,
anyhow.
again, the overall, it's just crazy to me for Kirby's position to just say everything everybody's seeing is you're just all overthinking it.
Kirby and Mayorkas. I mean,
we've all
the two
lived
of them.
here. We've all.
Yeah.
It's just like
they've done this though. They ran a whole campaign on. Don't believe what you see.
Right. Believe what we tell you.
Believe what we tell you, but don't believe what you see. It's not true.
Yeah, no, but this is so just. I mean, this is.
I know it's beyond obvious, but this is consistent with how they've spoken to us for 4 years, maybe longer.
Way longer.
Karen Russo on Facebook. Hello, everybody on socials.
I'm on YouTube. Looking at YouTube right now.
Broke Spoke on YouTube. Moon Pie on YouTube. Sue on YouTube. Patrick on YouTube.
Everybody thinks Kirby's
Vicky
lying.
High Note on YouTube, huh?
Everybody thinks Kirby's lying. I mean, it's just you don't even need to take a survey.
I mean,
even John Kirby just.
I mean, it's not even.
John Kirby just retweeted that he's lying.
It's so crazy.
Hi, I'm John Kirby, and you're not.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Welcome on back. Vinnie Mac had some thoughts before we move on to the news. Just to close this out, Vinnie Mac, what were those thoughts?
Yeah, I want to finish off on this drone thing and go back. Let's go back in time. We've talked about the open border. We talk about illegals all the time, but we don't talk enough about terrorists that have come in. Then you fast forward to a briefing that the FBI director gave when they asked him what the security challenges were in the country right now. And of course, he was over the top about the threats that we have. You add all that up and you look at where we are right now and you're wondering, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? Why are we even in a position? Open borders, the FBI has been warning us, they let terrorists in, and radioactive material goes missing. I mean, these things are a direct result of the utter incompetence on all of our borders by this administration. It all comes back to that. A drone story turns into a story about the incompetence of the administration and the open borders policy, which is why it's so dangerous for all of us. It happens to be drones now. Tomorrow, what is it? It's something else that's going to happen that, God forbid, I hope it doesn't, but it's going to be some other terrorist threat or some other bad thing where they're in our country now.
I'll tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be what Sean Ryan talked about with some woman who I unfortunately do not know who she is. I did not watch the full interview, but I saw the clip where he said to her, Sean Ryan's podcast, by the way, is fantastic. One of the best out there. He said to her, so let me get this straight. You think there's over 1,000 Al-Qaeda soldiers in the country right now? And she said, not only is she convinced, she said the American people have yet to see an Al-Qaeda member walk into some place with a vest on and blow himself up. That's never happened here. And she's convinced that something like that's on the horizon. That's what she told Sean Ryan. Well, I'll have to get her name and who she is, but I know she has got a big background in this stuff.
It's scary, but it's logical. You know, when you let in all these illegals and then all these terrorists that snuck through, it's just logical. They're not here to get a job.
They don't want to become baristas.
Yeah, they're not here to work in Starbucks and serve Rick, a double espresso.
Right.
They're here to hurt us, and they've allowed them in. And that's sort of my point, my overall point. It all comes down to these policies. You can't always point to the administration about things that happen when they're kind of random.
Sarah Adams is her name.
But the policies point to the danger that we see, and then we have these drones flying in patterns, obviously looking for something.
Yeah.
And the FBI director's hair's on fire a couple of months ago, maybe 6 months ago, telling us how there's so much danger going on right now, more than ever. They can't keep up with all of it.
Right. They can't keep up with how many, I think they identified like 30 or 40 some odd terrorists that came in that they were able to flag, but that's not counting the ones they missed.
30 or so out of what? A couple of hundred? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Maybe thousands.
And then you go, and then you look at something like, okay, it's in my wheelhouse, Area 51. Do you think that if drones mysteriously started flying near Area 51, that those things wouldn't have been shot out of the sky as soon as they got too close?
And we wouldn't have known.
And we wouldn't have known about it.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have cared where they landed. They're just like, you're not coming here. So there's, and it makes me think even more that these things are ours. I don't think they're Chinese. I don't think they're foreign. I think they're ours.
I agree with you.
And now that they start talking about the grid in which they are showing up, which makes a lot of sense, it does seem like they're looking. It reminds me of what do you call it? The movie Sum of All Fears. Right? Because where somebody smuggled a nuke in and they had to try and find it, but unfortunately it goes off.
Yeah.
But then they're sitting around wondering, well, we got to worry about first strike. It's like the first strike already happened.
It's not just us, It's Joe Rogan, by the way, saying the same thing.
Yeah.
He's seeing this. Logical people are seeing the same thing. They're looking for something.
Right.
And we allowed the something to come in. And we're not going to pay the price for that probably for a while. But right now, maybe, hopefully we're going to avert something. But it's shocking to me that the media and everyone else on the left allowed this level of danger. Then you've got rapes and robberies and all the crazy murders and all those things that happen with illegals that have come into this country. They don't even talk about this terrorist thing. And that's where we're going to land here.
Yeah.
We're going to land right there.
And you talk about grids. That's how they search for missing kids, missing bodies.
That's right.
It's like, all right, they spread out, they get volunteers, and they form a grid, and they do a search. That is how it works. This is exactly what they're doing, but they're doing it from the air.
Yep.
So it kind of makes sense. I'm not saying that's definitely it, but man, oh man.
Well, we don't know, but it certainly smells exactly like this.
Yeah.
And when the government tells you not to worry about something,
that means you worry about something.
I mean, please. And in defense of the government, which is very hard to do right now, the last thing you want to do is tell people, well, there's a dirty bomb somewhere in New Jersey, and we've got a pattern of drones trying to sniff it out. They're not going to tell us that.
Right.
You want to hear this little quick clip from Sarah Adams on with Sean Ryan? Here's just a little bit of this as she discusses the threat.
We have not had a man walk up to a building with a suicide vest on the United States. Americans don't understand this. Al-Qaeda knows this, right? So this is new and innovative, especially now. You don't have to walk upside of the building. You can walk in the building because of the advancement of the vest. The other thing is, in the United States, we haven't had Fideian attackers. So the concept is the terrorist fights to the death. So he's not exactly a suicide bomber, but he will fight till either all of us are dead or all of his people are dead. We think it's going to be a swarming attack, right? Multiple different attacks at one time across multiple cities. We think there will be suicide bombers just because some of the attackers went through suicide bomber training and they have these vests. And then we think there's these Fideian attackers who will carry on until they're killed.
You just rephrase that. So these guys are trained and they are going to fight until they're killed.
Yes, and that matters, right? So I was watching this video and it was a suicide bombing in Kabul years ago. The bomber blew up and then everyone starts moving in. The first responders move in, right? And then another guy walks in and blows up. We know this is a tactic. But if Americans don't understand this as a tactic and don't understand these attackers are going to fight to the death, think about that. Battle's going on. The attacker surrenders. He might have the suicide vest. We let our guard down. That man came to die, right? He's going to fight till he dies or you die. So we can't let our guards down, and they know our weakness. So we have to be very careful that we don't have more people die in these second and third order effects of not knowing their intent.
How do you feel about that after you've had 13 million people come across the border?
Right. Yeah.
And you wonder what the repercussions are going to be.
If it was 13.
It was scary. Again, they tell us all this stuff. All you got to do is watch TV and movies, man. They freaking tell you. I saw that. I saw her exact explanation on an episode of Criminal Minds years ago, because they had a terrorist attack in the city, and they said, keep everybody back. There could be a second bomber waiting to approach as everybody comes closer. And that's exactly what she describes. So it's, you know what? She's not crazy. That's not crazy. That's the way these people think. That's the way they act. And that's how they value human life. They don't.
Yeah. No question about it.
All right, 37 past the hour. Let's move on and do some news. News is brought to you by Freedom Force Nutrition, available live from Studio6B.com right there on the homepage, 15% off. And here with that's Rick Delgado. What's going on?
All right, well, plenty of going on, believe it or not, especially when you're talking about Just the News and our very own friend of the show, John Solomon, who's all over TV today, reporting on just this story, the House GOP accusing Liz Cheney of tampering with January 6 witnesses and asked FBI to investigate criminality. Talking about John, I almost call him John Stewart. John Solomon.
John Solomon's doing the
he was on this network today talking about this. Here he is, cut number 3. It's a little bit long, but he not only talks about Liz Cheney and the possible charges there, but also Jack Smith. Check this out.
Administration Subcommittee on Oversight, the committee that's been investigating January 6th, just released its final report for this year. It accuses Liz Cheney of tampering with the witness, Cassidy Hutchinson, trying to influence her testimony. It formally recommends that the Federal Bureau of Investigation criminally investigate Liz Cheney when President Trump takes over on January 20th. One of several bombshell revelations in here. The report also says that Jack Smith colluded with the January 6th committee, but that some of the evidence has not yet been turned over to Congress. They're demanding that evidence be turned over, something that might happen when the new administration takes over. But a really significant and rare moment for Congress to actually suggest that one of its members should be criminally prosecuted for tampering with a witness in an official government proceeding, a House hearing, the January 6th House hearing. As you remember, Cassidy Hutchinson was the bombshell witness for the Democrats, claimed that Donald Trump tried to commandeer the presidential limousine to the Capitol. We now know that wasn't true. The Secret Service had already told Liz Cheney it wasn't true. She presented the evidence anyways to the American public, tried to give it credence. There's some other testimony where Cassidy Hutchinson talks about a document she claims she wrote it. She didn't. Someone else wrote it. All of that is laid out in this report. But the headline is Liz Cheney could be facing an FBI criminal investigation based on this information that Congress has transmitted this morning.
John, a quick follow-up real quick. I'm looking at witness tampering, obviously a federal crime, up to potentially 20 years in prison if this is witness tampering.
A very serious allegation. And as we now know from the reporting we did a few months ago, Liz Cheney was communicating to Cassidy Hutchinson around her lawyer. She was represented by a lawyer. When you go out and reach out to someone around their lawyer, you're violating the D.C. bar ethics, which, by the way, Liz Cheney was a barred lawyer in D.C., so she was obligated to follow those rules. But it goes beyond that. It suggests that she was trying to influence the testimony, get her to say things that would make Donald Trump look worse. This is a very serious allegation from Chairman Barry Loudermilk, the head of this committee, the guy who's run the counter January 6th investigation that has found so many things we were denied and not told about in the earlier probe. But a really significant moment today. And you're right. If the FBI were to pursue charges, this would be a very serious crime and one that could carry some serious prison time.
And you could,
John, apart from Liz Cheney, you mentioned
there is zero chance. John's done great reporting on this, by the way. Barry Loudermilk's done a great job. You know how I feel, and how this show has talked about the Salem witch trials as they went on. Throughout that, we talked about it. I'm convinced Cheney has a deal with Biden already in place, had a deal with Biden already in place to be able to go out and be so reckless. So there is zero chance that she will see anything, because he will absolutely pardon her and Jack Smith before he leaves office. You can smell them from a mile away.
Yep.
That doesn't take away from the reporting. It doesn't take away from the report that Barry Loudermilk and they did. And John's reporting has been fantastic. He's the best in the business. He's been on this. But I'm convinced the deal was in place before she even started.
Yeah, and you know what? In terms of what they did there, it doesn't also disregard. It doesn't get rid of the crime she committed. So hopefully, if she does have a pardon, that's okay. Fine, you got your pardon, but we will know that you are a criminal scumbag, Liz Cheney.
Well, we know that now.
Well,
I mean, we've known that.
Right.
We've known the witness tampering. I mean, that's really no surprise to anybody who's followed John's reporting, our reporting of John's reporting. Again, just common sense at the time that the idea of what the president was doing in that car was we knew was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Cassidy Hutchinson as a witness was always ridiculous. None of it ever rang true. She didn't come through as someone credible at all through the whole thing. We talked about this. None of this is a surprise.
And Cheney pushed back on the report, saying the report intentionally disregards the truth and the select committee's tremendous weight of evidence, which of course they went above and beyond their duty and destroyed all of that evidence that could have cleared her and showed how righteous and truthful she was.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'll take you a little trip down memory lane about her and Cassidy Hutchinson when we get back. Live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night.
Did they use bleach bit and take a hammer to their cell phones and iPads? They might have gone that far.
Chat. What's going on, chat?
That's an amazing outfit you got there, Slick.
Slickster!
Unbelievable. Really, look at that thing.
What were they serving at the holiday party?
That trios. Oh, they had chicken parm. They had pasta.
Talking about alcohol. I'm talking about alcoholic beverages.
I just had one.
That's it? Just one?
Got to tone it down.
What? Just one?
I had my.
What are you, Cassidy Hutchinson? We don't believe you.
Before he had that drink, he had a double-breasted blue suit on.
Only one tonight.
He only had one of his blue Hawaii drinks.
Blue Hanus. Slide a little bit to your left, Slick, so you can get into the picture so people can see there he is. The full Liberace deal.
There you go.
You know what? Go stand in front.
Paging Judy Garland to the front door, please.
No place like home.
Do you want to touch my fur?
Hello.
Liberace used to say.
Hey.
Boy, he was a great piano player, though.
My brother George.
Everybody thought, everybody took him like as a showman, but
he was fantastic.
He was
very entertaining.
Quite the piano player.
What was that one he had? I forgot that one song he had was incredible.
Who was the other guy who he put on a great show? He was the guy, the older guy who always used to do all those tricks with the singers, and oh my God, I used to watch him as a little kid.
Who, Jerry Lee Lewis?
No. The guy, he used to do like a whole act.
What show was it on? Maybe that'll help us.
Lawrence Welch.
He would give concerts. And he would do all this like stuff. Like he'd conduct the orchestra and like
Soupy Sales.
And then
Victor Borga.
Victor Borga. Thank you.
Victor Borga. Yeah,
man, from downtown.
Yeah, he's funny. Very funny.
Victor Borga. And people took him because of his act. And boy, I tell you something. He was a hell of a. When he wanted to, dump the act and just sit down at the piano. Oh my God, could he play?
Same with John Valby. You know who John Valby is, right?
Well, yeah, but not quite the same level of piano player.
Well, still, when you consider his act.
He played a mean chopsticks.
Yeah.
I love the John Valby.
How about Little Richard? He played a nice piano, huh?
Victor Borga. Oh, my God, was he good.
I just saw a clip of him on as well. He'd sit at the piano and like fall down or do these tricks. Right?
Oh, he was genius.
Yeah. Maybe they have drones looking for him.
Maybe.
Doing a grid search.
5:47 past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night. Glad you're in. Real America's Voice. Slickster's here. He's going to do some sports in a little bit. Slickster, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing good, Big D.
How you doing? You had a little holiday party tonight? For
a little festive for the holiday season.
As the president of the Chamber of Commerce for 30 years, you have to get around during the holiday season.
I do. I apologize. Yeah, I got to make the rounds. It's, these parties start at like 6:30, 7. I try to, it's very hard for me to walk out of a room without like, he's leaving, So you got to play it close.
Yeah, they got to, all the glitter goes away, and they got to turn the lights up in the room after you leave because you don't light it up anymore.
It's like after the New Year's Eve ball drops, everybody leaves.
Put your sunglasses on.
Elvis has left the building.
Slick's in the building. Come on now.
Wow. It's Ray-Ban time.
All right, we'll get to sports here in a little bit, but we were doing some news. But we were talking about Liz Cheney, so let's do a little bit on Liz Cheney, and we'll get back to the news. If you remember Liz Cheney when she went on with horrendous ABC on Sunday with ABC, whatever it was, This Week, whatever loser was hosting it this week.
I think it's called This Week with some schmuck.
Yeah,
I believe that's the name of the show. Yeah.
Here, remember this exchange.
You went and gave her a hug after she testified.
Oh, yeah.
It was unpatriotic. It was un-American.
Oh.
We were watching the Capitol building get defaced over a lie.
Why did she go where so few have gone before?
What Cassidy Hutchinson did was an unbelievable example of bravery and of courage and patriotism in the face of real pressure.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel.
And people have outright said that she's not telling the truth. Cassidy Hutchinson's not telling the truth about what happened in the presidential motorcade.
The committee is not going to stand by and watch her character be assassinated by anonymous sources and by men who are claiming executive privilege. And so we look forward very much to additional testimony under oath on a whole range of issues.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We'd like to see you under oath on a range of issues. How's that going to work out? Oh, not too well. Not too well. No, it will not, Lizzie. It will not, Dizzy Lizzie. It will not end up too well for you to be under oath.
Get that pardon out quick.
And you know what?
Exactly.
You know what? Liz Cheney might have a pardon, but I bet you Cassidy Hutchinson didn't get one.
Well, she really could be in some serious trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Lying in front of Congress? Mm-hmm. Would that be considered lying in front of Congress?
Why would she be in trouble? Fauci's done it for years. He's not going to be in trouble.
He'll have a get out of jail.
Lying in front of Congress nowadays, it's this. Unless your name is Steve Bannon or somebody like that, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Yep.
No, if you're anyone with a D in front of your name or you're friends with Dizzy Lizzie, that doesn't matter. You can lie in front of Congress, and especially if you're Dr. Fauci, that little gnome, he could do it too. He should be in an orange jumpsuit, but no, he's not. Nor will he be. He'll be getting pardoned too, as I've told you. You can bank on those. Fauci, Cheney, Smith, for sure. All three of those you could, and then the brother.
Yep.
And probably himself. You could take probably those 5 plus another, who knows, probably 2,000-3,000, and take it to the bank. You can smell them from a mile away coming.
It's hard to imagine that actually will happen, but I totally agree with you. It absolutely looks like it's going to, but it's shocking. And everything they're doing is creating the worst precedent possible for the Oval Office. Everything, like every step that they make, all the lies that they tell, all the things that they do, it sets such a bad precedent going forward. Because what do you think's going to happen? Trump's going to get revenge. He's going to be vengeful. He's going to come after all of us. Yeah. So, look at what you've done.
But it doesn't even have to be vengeful. It's just, okay, we're going to see if you broke the law. Oh, guess what? You did.
No, I agree.
Simple as that.
But their narrative is Trump's going to be vengeful and come after us, so we got to pre-pardon everybody. It's like, no, he's just going after the people that did bad things. But this is the precedent they're setting. So what do you think Trump's going to do when he's winding down? He's going to pre-pardon a whole slew of people. I mean, it's going to be a cycle now of all this stuff. It's just terrible. They keep making the country worse every time they step into office. Obama and now Biden.
The whole thing was a sham from the jump. We knew it. That's why we called it the Salem witch trials. It was a joke. All of them should face investigation. Not just Hutchinson, not just Cheney, Thompson, Kinzinger, all of them. They're all in on the ruse. They were all in on the ruse. They all knew all along it was a joke. They got up there with their serious faces and demanded criminal investigations into this and to that, and witnesses shouldn't be, our witnesses are not going to be this or not going to be that. Meanwhile, they were doing everything that they were accusing and trying to say that they were protecting their witnesses from other people doing. They were doing it, as is always the case with these people.
Yeah, they hired a Hollywood producer. A Hollywood producer to produce the TV version of those.
Right.
I didn't want to call them inquiries, whatever the heck they were doing with that Salem witch hunt. A Hollywood producer. Why would they do that? To completely convince the public of these lies beyond whatever they would normally try to convince the public of their lies. Like, they took it to a whole nother step to have it professionally produced. They had a showrunner. They had producers. Disgraceful. That alone should tell all of us that the entire thing was a sham. When you have to go to that level to get to try and convince people of lies. And people are convinced. I've got so many liberal friends that when they want to come at me, it's January 6th.
Oh, of course.
January 6th, the insurrection. I said, using the wrong word. Was it an insurrection? You want to see an insurrection? Go look at what happened in Syria. That's an insurrection. They blew up a bunch of buildings, they killed a bunch of people, and they took over the government. That is an insurrection. Not a bunch of people who, by the way, went to see Trump speak. Half of them were like 55 and over, walking in like, oh, this is the Capitol. Oh, thank you. The door's wide open. I'm going to walk right in. Okay, Mom, what do you think? I mean, the entire thing was such a fiasco. But to use the word insurrection always bugged me. But I've got good friends of mine that tell me that all the time.
Well, you know what? Since we're going down memory lane from January 6th, how about we visit cut number 6 here?
All right.
Just a couple of FBI subcontractors, Antifa members, just getting ready for a little January 6th action. Here it is, cut number 6, just so you remember.
Getting his disguise on.
Okay, so remember this. I'm going to wear a mask underneath the mask. You should wear this. I'm wondering if I should wear, what do you think I should wear as the hat? I should wear this or this?
The FBI.
Antifa member.
Here, this is your mask.
No, that's the FBI.
Oh my God, the America mask.
Dude, I'm not you got to blend in. I know you can't stomach wearing it, but you need to blend in. You have to have a visual identifier. You're not coming if you're not wearing this.
All right.
You could also wear this.
The America hat might be my move, but we'll see. I'll bring them both in my backpack.
We've got Fox News, OAN,
CNN. We're ready to.
We're ready.
I don't know if we're committing crimes doing this, but
Are you insinuating that I don't work for all three of these companies simultaneously?
I am at least a little bit insinuating that.
You feel like you think that I don't work for all of them. They won't trust you unless there's a visual, there's something visual.
Yeah.
Remind me what we just watched?
January 6th, the pre what do you call it? Insurrection. They were getting ready for it.
This is the people the FBI paid. Correct?
Yeah, those are the people that got
and they
paid.
taped themselves doing it?
And
then released it?
No, I think somebody released it on them.
Well, they do ambush, quote unquote, journalism. They pretend to be people on one side and ambush people to get them to say stupid things.
It's like the I forget the black guy's name who was actually inside, and he said, "Oh, I'm a journalist," but meanwhile he was a Denver Antifa member or Denver Antifa leader. I forgot the kid's name.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Those types of people.
All right.
Okay.
Good stuff.
All right. All right, let's, wow, that was Fast Hour 1. We'll do some sports, some thoughts from Vinnie Mac when we get back. Hour 2, kicking off live from Studio 6B right after this.
9 o'clock already. Getting ready for bed. Is that a custom-made suit, or is it that you get off the shelf?
Not off the shelf. I buy it online.
Banana Republic?
Yeah, Banana.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Ben, they'll get your size. You can go find one. Damon, to show how much money the government shovels out the door, Doge wants to save $2 trillion. Yeah, good luck. If you take $1 trillion divided by 350 million, that's 2.9 million. So every man and woman and child in America could receive 2.9 million each. A family of 4, 12 million. No, that math is not right.
That's terrible.
It's Biden math.
That's that math that.
I think it would. Yeah, that math doesn't compute.
X equals what? Sorry.
330 million people in the world in the country. Everybody could get $1 if it was 330 million. So.
I remember that.
990 million. $3.
Right. So So what? $1 trillion is what? $3 for everybody?
No, that's $3 for every billion.
Okay, so what? 3,000.
3,000. Yeah.
3,000. Everybody could get 3,000. Is that math right?
Yep.
I'd like to buy a vowel. If I can.
That would triple most Americans' bank accounts. Right? What do they say? The average American has less than $1,000 in the bank.
Really?
Yeah, 1,500. Right? Wasn't there a statistic?
Wow.
Yeah, it's like very low. Everybody lives check to check, and especially in these days.
Yeah, it's quite common, man. And you know, if you're relying on Social Security, which they not only got to fix the tax thing, they got to like double the benefits. Like it's ridiculous
to catch up with cost of living. Absolutely.
Yeah, to pay all that money in all the years that you work to get $2,500 a month or whatever, $1,500 a month. Some of it's just ridiculous.
You can't even pay rent with that money.
And the idea is that you're supposed to be able to live a little bit or help live.
Yeah.
So if they're going to remove the tax on that, which they should, they have to double it.
I can't even believe they had the nerve all these years to tax you on money you already paid.
No, I think
taxes on.
I think $2 trillion divided by 330 million is $6. Yeah.
Oh, $6. That's a false cry from
$6.06. Yeah, you guys are doing very well there. Just want you to know.
There you go.
I'm going to go to the whiteboard here in a minute.
You can't even get a large coffee in most places for $6.
That's half a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Rick.
Right.
Okay.
It's got to be more than that.
That's a mocha, no latte.
That's just the mocha. Not even more.
Federal deficit.
They didn't tell me there'd be math here during this show.
$270 per person.
Highly complicated.
Maybe it's 6,000. Live from Studio 6B, Hour 2 on a Tuesday night. Real America's Voice. Glad you're in. Slick Rick sitting right there. He's going to do some sports. Rick Delgado's got some more news coming up in Hour 2.
Yes, sir.
Aaron and Fran holding it down as always. Vinnie Mac sitting in tonight.
I did not know that.
Yes, you did, because you're here. Vinnie Mac's got some thoughts. Well, you always have some thoughts.
I got some
specifically is steaming your clams, as our friend Kevin Downey Jr. would say. What's steaming your clams today?
My clams are steaming big time. First shout out to Greg and Andrew. Thank you for watching. I've got a...
Where are they watching?
They're watching on TV somewhere.
Oh, thank you, Vin. They're watching on TV. That's good to know. I didn't know. I thought maybe they're watching us on the toaster. What platform?
Yeah, it's
very precise.
Mobile toaster. I'm not sure what they're watching us on, but I know they're watching us.
All right, very good.
All right. I've got two things. One is not really steaming my clams. What's that?
They're watching on a Black & Decker.
Yeah. See, toaster
really
TV.
Burns my buns.
Yeah.
By mana. One thing is, I just want to give a major kudos shout out to how great Trump is. Trump has the top CEOs in the world all coming to meet with him. Bezos, Zuckerberg. He's got the what's that? $100 billion investment from SoftBank.
Two.
I mean, $200 billion.
He got two out of
He
him.
made the guy double it up.
Yeah, he made him double.
He did?
Yeah.
I love this guy.
He strong-armed him.
He really did.
Literally.
Let's pull it. Wait, get the clip up. Hold your thoughts, Vin.
Watch this strong-arming.
Let's get the clip up here. So Vin maybe didn't see this.
It's the best. He basically shook him down. And
The
right in front
ending
of the
is
TV.
beautiful.
I'm working on $100 billion.
Poor little guy had $100 billion. And see, you know what happened was the guy from SoftBank did himself in because he led. Okay, well, here we go. We have the clip. Go ahead.
To go, and we were discussing, and President Trump said, Masa, double that is not enough. Maybe, go for more, right?
That's all right. I'm going to ask him right now. Would you make it $200 billion and say, he can actually, believe it or not, he can actually afford to do that. Would you do that?
Well, my promise is 100, but he's now asking to do more. I think with your leadership, my partnership with you, with your support, I will try to make it happen.
That's good.
All right,
200. He'll look at it. 200 million investment.
Watch him grab.
He is a great negotiator.
That's strong arm him.
Yeah, right there.
Come here, like he's a 12-year-old kid.
That's the greatest move.
He's the best I've ever seen.
He said, I'll try to make it happen. Okay, got it. Good. 200.
Yeah.
Book it, Dano.
Pay the lady on the way out the door.
$200 billion. You got to buy a penthouse in Trump Tower as well.
That
on top
is
of
right
that
up
for
there with
60.
How Do You Like My Garbage Truck? That's one of the classics.
But this is exactly what I'm talking about. This guy gets these leaders in, and look at what happens. $200 billion, 100,000 jobs being created, maybe 200,000 now, right? So I just wanted to give a shout out and just say this guy we knew he was amazing coming in, but this kind of stuff, I've never seen a leader or president deliver this type of activity. He's not even in office yet. Now let me get to the thing that's really bugging me. You got my, what'd you say, my clam steaming or something to that effect?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
I toast my buns.
Today I have been really fuming about George Soros. Just everywhere I turned. Did you see the clips from Chicago with the mayor and the public outraged about the amount of money that they are spending on illegal immigrants in their city? And then you look at all of the district attorneys and all the prosecutors that George Soros got put in and all the judges that he got elected, like that clown that just ruled on Trump today. You look at all this, and all roads point to George Soros. So I'm thinking to myself, one, yeah, we got to drain the swamp. We got to clean up, our deficit and all that stuff. But we can't. This guy can't continue to be allowed to do the things that he's doing. He's literally single-handedly destroying this country. We went through 4 years of George Soros approved politicians, judges, district attorneys, prosecutors in California and other states. And what did we get out of this? Complete recklessness. Absolute Armageddon in our cities. People being released from jails, danger all over the place. And what really set me off was watching this community event with the mayor of Chicago trying to defend some motion where he's going to pay. First of all, they have a huge deficit there. They can't afford anything. And he decides he's going to put forward a new budget paying huge amounts of money to service these illegals. And the people spoke up. They've had it. They're screaming at him. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this mayor's a bad guy, but this is all about George Soros. How do you think that guy got elected? And the mayor before him that created all of these things. So there needs to be a way, and I appeal, if any of the Trump people are watching this show, and we know some of them watch, what are we going to do about this guy? We cannot allow this to continue. He's buying up radio stations left and right. Why? For propaganda purposes. He's single-handedly also enabled Antifa and all of these other organizations, Black Lives Matter, all of these things that have created huge division in this country. It all comes back to me when I watch this event in Chicago and see real people getting up and saying, no, you can't do this anymore. And he went and did it anyhow because of George Soros and all that money. And here we have Trump scoring $200 million in SoftBank, having the biggest business owners and leaders in the world coming in, kissing the ring, and vowing to give him things and make business for the United States. And we have this issue, this guy, this billionaire, undermining everything. So that's my gripe right now. We got to unwind this guy. I don't know if it's illegal what he does. It's unethical, and it's harmful. Is it illegal? I don't know, but we need to eliminate this guy from being able to do the things that he's doing.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to eliminate him, Vin. We know what you mean.
Eliminate his ability to do what he's doing.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
Yeah. But
and by the way, the AM radio thing's a real deal. They already tried to get AM radio out of cars, out of all new cars. We talked about that when the Wall Street Journal, conservative radio, big numbers. Liberal, progressive radio, no numbers.
Who's listening to that?
Zero.
Nobody.
Well, that's why it always fails.
It's always failed. That's how you get that's how you get Joe Scarborough ended up on MSNBC, because he wanted to make a career in radio. And there is no career in left-wing progressive radio. You can maybe have a podcast like some of the bigger ones on the left they have, but there is no, it's only conservative talk that brings in the dollars and brings in the listeners. And that's why we got spoiled with Rush, Hannity, Levin, 9 hours of it every single day for all those years. God bless Rush. We all miss him. And we've got a lot of young up-and-comers who are filling the void. And, still got Sean, you still got Levin. You got Andrew Wilkow, you got Clay and Buck doing their thing, and you've got others. You got David Webb. I listen to him a lot on Sirius XM. I mean, you still got some good, but that's what they are. They're going full-fledged target after conservative radio.
But you have all these problems we're trying to solve, and you're looking at how Trump's solving them, and you're seeing great things, and they're obvious. And then you see this guy. And when you peel the onion back and you see all of the things he's done, radio is one example. These groups are another. Judges.
And the Sun, by the way.
Yeah, the Sun's he's the second coming, basically.
He's just as bad.
Yep. Yeah.
When you think about judges, and I'm sure you guys share this thought, a judge is one of the most respected positions in the country. Why? Because you're this impartial person who's supposed to look at both sides of an argument and make a determination based on fairness. That's what a judge is. I grew up really respecting judges. I knew a New York State Supreme Court Justice, Judge Malloy, when I was growing up. Amazing man. I respected him so much because he was a really fair and honest guy. That's what I thought judges were. The judges are not that anymore. Why? Because of Soros. He's bankrolling them, and they believe in these things, and they're also doing payback. I mean, that in itself is enough where you can really turn a country upside down. Look at what we've been through. Look at these riots that we had, during the other administrations that took on, that were, peaceful protests, right? All these things. Soros had his hand in all of that stuff. To me, it's all a result of these things.
Yeah, that's the influence of the district attorneys that he bought and placed in cities around the country.
You have judicial tyranny now all across the country on many levels.
A judge isn't a judge anymore.
Yep. All right, 9 past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Very good, Vin. We'll get back to some more thoughts with Vin here in the hour. Let's do some sports, though. Slick Rick is here. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell, MyPillow. LFS6B is the promo code to use at checkout for MyPillow. Slickster, what's going on?
All right, we got to recap those Monday night games, Big D. I don't know if you caught the end of those games, but I tell you, the Falcons forgot to shut the door on the Raiders, and only in Vegas could the spread be of tie. 6 points, and what did they win by? 6 points. You got it, right in Vegas, right just outside Allegiant Stadium. Place your bets. Caesar's got a buy one, get one.
You think that's a coincidence?
No, absolutely not. And the Vikings looking good. They beat the Bears 30-12. They did cover for us.
Bears.
And Vikings are doing good, though. They're keeping pace with the Detroit Lions. That's going to come down to a real dogfight, those two guys. But really good stuff. Yeah, so 30-12, Vikings over the Bears. We were all on that game.
I guaranteed a Chicago cover last night.
Yeah. They did not.
And what happened?
Big loser.
Yeah, he lost. Yeah. He lost at the bank.
Looked like a total fool that we already all know that I am, and I proved it once again.
Well done.
Well, what's amazing? Did you see what Jason Whitlock was talking about?
No.
He was talking about the officiating and how it's gotten progressively worse ever since the NFL got locked in with all these gambling sites. He says all of a sudden it seems like, and it seems to be tracking that the officiating seems to get worse for when it comes to the final score of these games.
Oh, some questionable calls at the end, right?
Yeah.
A couple of that false start on a touchdown.
It seems like we're seeing it every week.
Yeah,
now, what was the most recent one? They stopped the clock when they're not supposed to?
Yeah, the refs are getting a little too involved in the game. That's becoming a problem. That's a whole nother show. But yes, Conor McGregor says he agreed to fight Logan Paul in India. This is Dylan Gwynn of Breitbart. Not a signed deal, but they sounds like they're getting close here. It has been 3 years since Conor McGregor last fought in the UFC Octagon, and the wait will continue. On Tuesday, the former two-division UFC champion announced that he would further delay his return to MMA to fight a boxing match against YouTuber Logan Paul. The rumors of a bout with Tia Tuparoro are false, McGregor wrote in a post on X. He said, I am in a preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I have agreed. I will then seek my return to the Octagon. Logan, who splits his time between the WWE and boxing when he's not producing YouTube content, has fought 4 times in the squared circle. He has a draw and defeat in his 2 fights against fellow YouTuber KSI. In addition, he has a draw with boxing legend Floyd Mayweather and a victory over MMA fighter Dylan Danis. So we're going to see McGregor had been out of the ring even longer than he's been out of the Octagon. His sole boxing match came in 2017 when he lost by TKO in the 10th round to the great Floyd Mayweather, the greatest to ever do it, right? Never lost. The Irish fighters' recent battles have been taking place in the courtroom. Last month, an Irish jury found McGregor liable in a case where a woman accused him of sexual assault in December of 2018. The High Court in Dublin ordered him to pay a complaint at $257,000 US. ESPN reports McGregor, who said in court he had consensual sex with the woman, has said he intends to appeal the decision. So it sounds like he needs to go out and make a few bucks there, Big D, but he's going to make a lot more than $257,000. That's about 1% of his purse, probably.
You want to fight the Pauls, either brother? 20 million.
Yeah.
They're making big money.
So that'll be a big fight. So we'll see the Irishman getting back in the ring.
Sacred Heart of Jesus.
Yep, that'll pay.
That's my Irish.
That's Rapid Sports, Big D.
Hi, live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.
My mother-in-law said it to me. She goes, Vincent, you're a fine lad and you have a nice physique too. Thank you. That's the first time I met her. It's the first thing she said to me. It's like, okay. Pass the Chinese food. Yeah. Oh, God. I got my brogue down pretty good, I have to say. There you go.
Bum, 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 bum. Chat, what's going on?
Chat is
hit the like, subscribe. Make sure you go over to livefromstudio6b.com. Sign up there to be a member.
She would say, Vincent, you're Italian, aren't you? Do you eat a lot of pasta? I guess we eat a lot of pasta. These are the opening questions. You okay?
I like the Family Feud in Africa. Steve Harvey says something. Says to the kid, name something. There's a problem at the wedding. And he says, "There's no pasta." And Harvey goes, "No. I told you, there's no food at the wedding. There's no food." And the guy, African guy, is trying to pronounce pastor. He says pasta. He says, "There's no pasta." And Harvey goes, "I told you there's no food. And he goes, how do I say? Preacher. And Harvey goes, "Oh," and then he realizes, and he loses it.
Ding!
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.
Oh, man. My mother-in-law was hilarious. When my daughter was born, she was like, "Oh, thank God she has blonde hair and blue eyes." So I put a baked potato and a rigatoni in front of her little tray when she was a baby to see which side of the family she was going to go for. And she went for the rigatoni.
Of course.
To clarify that for everybody out there.
Yeah.
The baked potato was sitting there all alone. But I learned a lot of really funny sayings from the Irish. And if she gave you a drink, she never rinsed out the glasses. It still had suds in it. So if you got a Coke, the suds would be 4 feet over the top of the glass. And I'm like, this can't be carbonation. Yeah, it was like a root beer float. And I'm looking over at it. I said, "What is this?" She goes, "All right, so it says suds. I didn't rinse the whole thing."
Elgato, child of the king. Yes. How's your puppy doing today?
He's doing great.
Well, you got a puppy or the dog you had something?
No. Oh, yeah. He's had a couple seats.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
He's okay?
He's good.
Oh, good to
Got
hear.
him on some medication now. Keeping an eye on him.
Okay.
So hard with anything that has that but a pet, where you just feel helpless, Terrible.
Sound like the blues. 17 past the hour. Let me talk to you about our friends over at AMAC. Donald Trump's done it again with his presidential victory and a red wave sweeping the House and the Senate. Conservatives are back in the driver's seat, but as the fight to restore America begins now is not the time to get complacent. You have the chance to be part of the movement, not just as a voter, but as a member of a powerful organization that takes its marching orders directly from you, the people, and that, of course, is AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. AMAC is the conservatives' alternative to AARP. They stand for faith, family, freedom, and they're fighting for the values that make America great. Join AMAC today for just $1 for your first year. What? Hello? $1 for your first year. That's right, just $1, but don't wait. The special offer ends December 31st. Donald Trump's building his team. You can be a part of it. Join AMAC today. Help us continue the fight for a brighter, freer future. Visit amac.us/Studio 6B, amac.us/Studio 6B now to claim your $1 membership and make your voice heard. That's amac.us/Studio 6B. Together, you can keep the momentum going. Go over there right now. amac.us/Studio 6B. 1 year for $1. And you get great stuff for the $1. It's not just membership. You get the magazine. You get advice on Medicare. You get all kinds of great stuff. So it's so worth it. amac.us/Studio 6B. Well, listen, you can forget about keto, carnivore, low carb, intermittent fasting, all these diets. If you want to drop stubborn extra pounds and maintain a healthy weight, well, you need to rejuvenate your overworked liver. Studies show that the rate of overworked livers have skyrocketed by 131% over the past 30 years. Lots of things contribute to an overworked liver, like eating processed junk food, drinking alcohol, and even toxin exposure. That's why it's crucial you take action now to rejuvenate your liver. And that's exactly what Liver Health Formula can help you do. Just listen to Mike's testimonial, where he shares his incredible transformation. Mike says, I can tell the most difference is in my abdominal area. I was bloated and really didn't realize it until I took Liver Health for a couple of weeks. Think I may have lost a few pounds as well. Regularity is better as well. I'll continue to take it daily. I just feel better overall. Of course, Mike's results aren't typical. Yours could vary. So join Mike and thousands of others in supporting a thriving liver and healthy weight. You can try Liver Health Formula risk-free, and it's a bonus gift to receive a free bottle of omega-3 with your order. GetLiverHelp.com/6B. Go there now. GetLiverHelp.com/6B. Claim your free bonus gift. That's GetLiverHelp.com/6B. GetLiverHelp, all one word, .com/6B now. From our friends over there at Pure Health Research. Check it out. Get your liver healthy. Liver Health Formula. All right, 20 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do. You dance through the whole commercial. I'm so distracted out the corner of my eye.
Because I'm trying to put a smile on your face. You sound a little depressed. I'm trying to bring you up.
He's showing me the bird.
On the read.
This guy's doing everything over here.
Yeah, I'm flipping off slick.
I'm seeing this over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably broke out a blow dryer and started doing his hair.
Yeah,
I think he needs to blow his socks out.
Blow his socks out.
Go back to doing that.
Well, it's been warmer now, so you don't.
Yeah.
Your little feetsies aren't so cold.
No, I only had to do it one time last week.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do some news. And here with that is Mr. Feetsies himself, Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
All right. Well, this is right up your alley, Damon. I know how much you love
Delbert
talking. No, I know how much you love talking about the spending and the continuing resolution.
The greatest election fraud in the world, by the way, is this. It's not ballots. It's not dead people voting. You know what the greatest election fraud is?
Let me ask.
It's voting Republican and getting Democrat policies over and over and over and over and over again.
That's right.
And having a speaker that has no you-know-whats. And continuing CRs and deficit spending and bloated spending packages and $1,700 spending bills that get dropped on the floor on Monday night and they got to vote for it on Wednesday. And the same nonsense over and over and over again. A speaker who won't stand up for it, a Republican Party who won't stand up for it. Voting R and getting D policies, that's the greatest election fraud going.
Yes, called a total dumpster fire as House Republicans are fuming at Speaker Mike Johnson. His handling of the end-of-the-year measure to extend government funding until March says it's more like a sprawling omnibus that they abhor than a simple temporary funding measure. It's not a CR, according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is a continuation of the budget. It's turning into an omnibus. And Chip Roy also had some strong words against it. It's a total dumpster fire, according to Eric Burleson out of Missouri and part of the Freedom Caucus. But you want to know somebody who you're really, really going to love. Thomas Massey, who predicted this exactly would happen and the dates it would happen. He's like Mastradamus. Here he is, cut number 4, talking about exactly what was going to happen at this time of year and the exact dates. Check this out, cut 4.
I also predicted this would fall right before Christmas, and I believe this does fall on December 20th. Now, why have we picked December 20th? Because it's the same reason we always have December 20th. Everybody up here is human. There are no AIs or robots in Congress. And when you get to December 20th, you're 5 days from Christmas. You're 4 days from Christmas Eve. And you desperately want to be there with your family. So this is when the leadership here has the maximum influence. And again, I'm talking to the Democrats and the Republicans, because you've seen it on the Democrat side of the aisle. They love to pick the week before Christmas for this showdown because you can smell the jet fuel fumes over at DCA. It smells like Christmas, that you're going to get to go home and open presents. I've been in HC5 when literally the Speaker of the House, not the Speaker we have now, walks in and says, if you vote for this, you can go home and unwrap presents with your kids. And if you don't vote for this, you're going to spend Christmas here with Nancy Pelosi. And then the chant starts, vote, 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 vote. Literally, people get enthusiastic to vote for something that they haven't read. So let me predict what we're not going to do on December 20th before I take a guess at what we're going to do. What we're not going to do, we're not going to do 12 separate bills. We are not going to spend this time. We've got a few months between now and December 20th. We could go back to working on appropriations bills. We are not going to do this. This sucker, whatever happens on December 20th, whether it's another CR to punt, to kick the can down the road for 3 more months, or whether it's an omnibus that funds all of government with one bill, it's going to be written behind closed doors. And every lobbyist in this town is going to try to attach their little thing to this bill. This train is leaving the station on December 20th. It's the only one that we know is going to pass. They call it up here must-pass legislation. So everybody's going to try and get their little thing on this bill, whatever it is on December 20th, whether it's another continuing resolution or another omnibus.
Yeah, you can pause it there. He just keeps going on about, how this is exactly what we all campaign that we're not going to let happen.
I mean, I love Massey, but you don't have to be Nostradamus or him to. I mean, anybody that's paid any attention to this party knows everything he said is going to happen.
That's right.
It happens all the time. Again, what's the point of voting and winning these races when Hakeem Jeffries is clearly the Speaker of the House? If we're going to get the same legislation we would have gotten if he was the Speaker, then he's effectively the Speaker.
Absolutely.
What's the difference? This is what you would have gotten if he was the Speaker. But our guy is supposedly the Speaker. But the problem is our guy is weak But the other problem is our guy gets cover from the soon-to-be 47th, and I don't know why. And he's gotten cover for much longer than he deserves to get cover. Because he's been weak from day one when he walked through the rotunda and said, oh, yeah, I think money for Ukraine's on the table. Excuse me?
Yeah.
But for some reason, he's at Army, Navy in the suite. He's at the UFC, and this is where we're at.
Wrap sandwich.
It gives them a little lefty at the plate. That's not a bad deal.
No. They're picking the pieces up. They need one more good offensive player to get in there.
They lost a big one this year.
I'd rather have Bellinger than spend $800 million on that guy.
Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, I'd rather have more balance because that lineup was not balanced.
No.
It was Judge and Soto, and then nothing else happened.
That was it.
So if they got some balance and they had 3 or 4 guys that can deliver, as opposed to 4 or 5 guys, really, if 1 or 2. And that killed him in the playoffs, the World Series.
Dodgers with fire.
You think this?
Damon, would you shut down government? We've talked about this. We've talked about this probably a million times on this show since 2015. 100%.
I would too.
17% of the government shuts down. We've been over all the numbers of what actually shuts down.
70% of the people shut down. 100% of them aren't coming to the office. So what are we shutting down?
Right.
Bunch of home workers? I mean, come on. I'd shut it down.
Republicans are more afraid of how it looks than the actual shutdown.
Remote workers.
They're more afraid of the shutdown and how it looks than the actual fiscal cliff we've pretty much already gone off of.
Yeah, it's all optics.
It does not make sense. Does not make sense. And this Johnson doesn't make sense. And
we always do.
He's also up for a vote for him to continue.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be interesting. The speaker. Johnson, yeah.
There's no chance to get rid of him. He's got the president in his corner, unfortunately, until that doesn't happen.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
Trump's in his corner for some reason, maybe to try and keep continuity for a lot of reasons, but Trump's someone that has to deliver, and he needs a guy like Johnson to deliver. Not
he
to
ain't
cave.
the guy then.
Right,
you should realize that.
I get that, but
hasn't been the guy.
There's a reason Trump likes him and is trusting him. I got to have
he's
confidence.
Keeping him in place till he doesn't need him.
Maybe. Well, that's not an unusual move.
Right. Keep him in place, keep him close, and then for the next vote, he's like, I'm not supporting him.
Well, he's got till January 3rd? Congress, the new House convenes on the 3rd.
Yes, right.
3rd or the 4th?
I mean, so what are we talking?
Because don't they
somewhere around there?
2 weeks. He's going to make some 4D chess move to get rid of Johnson. Highly doubt it.
I think a government shutdown is exactly what we need. Exactly what they should do to let everybody know we're in charge.
All right, 30 minutes past the hour, live from Studio 6B on a Tuesday night. Slick Rick right there. He's got some sports coming up. Delgado's got the news. Vinnie Mac's got some thoughts. Aaron and Fran holding it down. Glad you're in on a Tuesday. Make sure you follow us on all our social media at LFS6B, pretty much everywhere other than Instagram, LFS6B Show. In just 3 years, the cost of living has skyrocketed. Americans now need an extra $11,000 a year just to cover the basics. Persistent inflation, high interest rates have left hardworking Americans strapped. And if you read Zero Hedge this week, the numbers that are coming out that show that Biden and the job numbers, it's all just nonsense. It's all just made up. And honestly, we're looking at a Federal Reserve right now. At the meeting on Friday, they'll probably cut a quarter point. Maybe they'll cut another quarter point. But I think the overriding thing you're going to hear from the Federal Reserve is that they're going to be very concerned about continuing to cut rates. which is not good for you, not good for the consumer, not good for your interest rates on your credit cards, not good for your debt, not good for all of that. And here to talk about this a little bit is our friend Jillian Barbary from Done With Debt. Please welcome her back to the show. Jillian, how are you? All right, we're going to effort connection here with Jillian, see if she can hear us. Fran and Aaron will work on that. But while they do, let's do a little news and hear what. Hold on, we got to get the mics back on here, Fran. I know you thought I was talking to Jillian.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Vin?
What do you think if it's a half a point? Remember last time you
no chance they're going to lower
half a point. You really got upset when they did the half a point last time.
No, they haven't raised. They haven't lowered a half a point. They've lowered quarter, I believe, in the two cuts. They've been a quarter, haven't they?
There was one cut that you really had a bad reaction to. It was more than we thought. I thought it was a half. Maybe not.
I thought they lowered quarter so far. I thought there's been two cuts. Both of them were a quarter. Maybe, are you talking about maybe when we raised?
No.
In the raising cycle?
It was a cut.
Oh. I don't
cut
recall.
You thought it was going to cause inflation. You thought it was going to have the reverse sort of thing. Well,
I don't remember. I'll have to go look. I think they've cut quarter. All right, let's try again. Jillian's here. Jillian, how are you? Back to the show.
Oh my gosh, sorry, I just ran and paid some bills. I'm back, thank goodness. I didn't hear y'all. Hello, gentlemen. Hello, boys.
Well,
How are you?
We can hear you great now, so welcome back to the show. And I was just saying, Federal Reserve is going to meet this week, and they're going to announce probably another quarter point rate cut, but Americans are not feeling it. And of course, if the Federal Reserve says, we're worried about inflation coming back, so we're going to cut today, this month, but moving forward, we're not so sure that we're going to continue to cut like everybody thought we were. That's not going to be great for people's credit cards, not great for interest rates if they don't continue to come down. People find a lot of debt right now. This is the time of the year where people are putting a lot of stuff on credit cards. How does debt start for most of these people?
Well, first of all, for me, debt started with, divorce, losing a job, illness, being a single mother with no help financially, child support, whatever. So debt can start in any way possible. It can creep up on you. And right now is a time of the year where you have debt on top of the holidays. So you're already freaking out about the regular debt, trying to act normal while the bills they completely are adding up. But you're also dealing with the fact that, you have kids and they're relying on you, and it's just so stressful. You're talking about the Federal Reserve, and, kids know nothing from that. They know nothing. They rely on you. And so when you're the breadwinner and you're taking everything home, just know that debt is a massive business, and you're not the winner. The collectors are the winners. And so when you get these offers for credit cards or, these great loans, we're going to, conglomerate this and we're going to do this for you. Don't take the bait, because you could end up in a worse situation. And that's why Done With Debt, and I know it's taken me a while to get into who these people are, donewithdebt.com. They're essentially your own legal team that will get together and dig you out of the hole that you're in. Because I know, I've been there. I've been in that hole. It's dark. It's depressing. You don't see the light. You think you're going to be homeless. You think you're freaking out. So this dedicated team gets together. You talk to them. You tell them exactly where you're at. There's no shame in your game. These are the people that you need to talk to. You're not talking to your wife, your husband. You're not, because you're the breadwinner and you're freaking out silently. I've been there. So these are the people that you do talk to. They're like a money shrink, essentially. And they put a strategy together. And there's basically, 3 prongs that they do, 3 ways that they attack. And they basically stand in front of you and the creditors. So no more nasty phone calls at dinner time. They stop the mail from coming in, constant, creditors. I used to get mail that I thought was from the government. They were just, it's funny how they scare you, but it's not even the government. Like, they look like they're official. And when you're an just a regular citizen of the United States, you see them and you freak out. It's not the IRS. It's not the government. It's crazy what they do. Anyway, so donewiththat.com, they can cut the interest rates. They can carve off penalties. They can renegotiate balances. They can do things that you can't as an average citizen. Yeah. And they can put an end to your debt. And in some cases, you end up, at the end of the month with money in your pocket, which is just insane. But time is not on your side, and it's the enemy. So you've got to get on it, because Done With That it's the place to turn to. It was literally the savior for me. Donewiththat.com. Just go and see what they can do for you, because your first consultant will be free, and they will get you back on track to, financial freedom.
Yeah. And, one of the things you said, I think the biggest mistake people make is they wait too long to try to get the help. They wait too long. They think they can get out of it themselves, or they think, I got this money coming in or that money coming in, or I'll go to the credit cards. It never goes. It never goes to the cards. I
waited years because I didn't know. And let me tell you something, $750,000 for me turned into $1.2 million. Like that. I was able to pay it off because I sold everything. I sold my house. But, and by the time I got to donewiththat.com, they're like, oh my gosh, you didn't have to do that. I'm like, la, 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 la. I don't want to hear that. Yeah. It's done. I'm a person that just has to move forward. What are you going to do? It's done, But they're amazing. Had I found them a few months earlier, perhaps I wouldn't have. But, you can't look at life that way. You have to just deal with what's in front of you. You stash them away in your glove compartment. You stash those letters away at home. It's only going to tally up the total. Yeah. And you're a number. You're going to come up again. And it's just unfortunate. So donewiththat.com. See what they can do for you. Donewiththat.com is the place to go. Donewiththat.com. See what they can do for you. You have nothing to lose. Go there now. Jillian, always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. Thank you very much. Jillian Barbary, there you go. Donewiththat.com. Check them out. Donewiththat.com. If it sounds like a situation you're in, you want to get out, donewiththat.com. All right, let's do a little news here with Rick Delgado. What's going on, Delgado?
Am I on?
Yeah.
Oh, there I am. Okay. Yeah. Breaking news, mass shooting. This coming out of Towson, Maryland. Just broke a little while ago. Mass shooting and mass casualty event has occurred after a car crashed reportedly into a funeral home, followed by a suspect then opening fire and shooting numerous people. What? At this time, multiple emergency crews and agencies are on the scene in Towson, Maryland, located in Baltimore County, responding to a mass shooting and mass casualty event. Reports indicate that a car crashed into a funeral home, like I said, and the suspect then initiated a shooting spree, leaving 7 people injured and multiple fatalities. Neighbors reported hearing more than a dozen gunshots during the incidents, and officials have described the situation as highly active, with potential and additional casualties. As information comes to light, the exact motive at this time remains unclear. So that's breaking, and just a few minutes ago, I took that from Raw Alerts on X, and I'm seeing it reported on WJZ, CBS, Fox, Baltimore County as well. Real live breaking news about 7 people shot, definitely 7 people shot, one confirmed dead according to Fox DC, Fox 5 DC in down there in Maryland.
Wow.
Crazy.
A funeral home?
Funeral home. Crashed the car into a funeral home, I guess gets out and then starts shooting. Kind of reminds me of something Vin was talking about earlier.
Uh-oh. What's that?
Somebody intent on causing harm, and then, just when you think, well, that was the issue, they get out with a gun and just start shooting everybody who's near them.
Yep.
That's crazy.
All right, well, is there any other news?
Nothing more on that particular story. But yeah, in terms of switching gears down to Florida, I don't know if you heard about this. Donald Trump looks like he's leaning towards a Florida Democrat to lead FEMA.
Oh,
yes, he is, because Jared Moskowitz has led under Ron DeSantis down in Florida, I believe he had a position. He led was it the statewide?
Statewide FEMA.
Yeah.
Jared Moskowitz is his name. He's a Democrat top contender to lead FEMA in Trump's administration. It's not immediately clear if Moskowitz and Trump had met to discuss the role. But yeah, as you mentioned, Moskowitz, even though he's a Democrat, first elected in 2022, has taken a notably friendlier approach to the administration than his Democratic colleagues. He's also the first Democrat to join the recently created Department of Government Efficiency caucus in Congress, and was also elected to serve a second term in the U.S. House. It would not be the first time Moskowitz served in a Republican administration. As you mentioned, under Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, Moskowitz spent 2 years as Director of Emergency Management down in Florida and led the state recovery for Hurricane Michael, a Category 5 storm that tore through the Panhandle in 2018, as well as the state's COVID-19 response. In the private sector, Moskowitz previously worked as General Counsel and Vice President of Business Development with Ashbrit Environmental, a disaster response contractor. So it's not like this guy is, just picked because he's a nice guy. He's got the bona fides.
Hey, if you got the experience and you got the chops, a Democrat or Republican, I think Trump wants the best person.
Yeah, right? And especially if you're talking about recovering from disaster, you don't care if it's an R or a D or an I. You just want help and you want it done the right way.
Yeah.
This guy seems to have the blessing of Governor Santos and the track record to say, you know what, I know what I'm doing.
All for it if everybody just wants to do a good job.
Yeah. So
not
there
a
you
partisan
have it.
job.
We'll see what happens with him, but again, no news yet if he has actually sat down with President Trump to discuss the role. But he is definitely, I guess, one of the top names on the list.
So before we hit the break, let me just tell you this: the short-term funding bill to avert a government shutdown includes a 1-year extension on the State Department's Global Engagement Center. That's the agency that Gabe Kaminsky and Matt Taibbi reported has funded speech suppression efforts and is being sued by the Federalist and the Daily Wire. In their abominable omnibus, Republicans are set to fund the illegal government censorship cartel that is attempting to shut down and destroy conservative news outlets like the Federalist and the Daily Wire. Unforgivable insanity. And it never changes. No matter who's in charge, what the names and faces, they change. The end result never changes.
We need to force some change here. Trump. These shootings are just out of control, you know. They seem to happen in flurries, though.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody says Trump's had a new haircut today. You want to put this up, Aaron?
Yeah, did you see this?
Take a look.
Is it the haircut or was it the hat?
I think it was the hat and the sweat playing golf, but this is what he ended up.
He got a hat cut.
Whoa. No, it's the hat.
You got a hat head?
The hat makes it flat.
Slicked back.
Everybody having a good time? A good time? Is everybody a Republican?
If not, get out.
The lady said, could you hire my son?
Oh, man. He is genuinely funny, I have to say.
He's
genuinely funny.
His comedic timing is unbelievable.
Oh, man. People don't understand. Like, they get all freaked out and outraged. He's just funny. Just funny. You know, so many things he says are to be funny, by the way. I love it.
He's unreal.
I think he's hilarious, too, when he goes from 100 to 200 billion from SoftBank. I mean, that guy was like, oh, no.
The SoftBank guy set himself up. He led himself right into it.
No longer SoftBank anymore.
That's it.
200 billion, man.
And he grabbed him. That was beautiful.
I think about it. Okay, 200 billion. Book it. You agreed.
How do you go back on your word after that?
Right, exactly.
Oh, totally cornered him.
You got him.
It's like inviting Xi to the inauguration. I mean, I think he said no, though, right? Xi?
Did he?
I don't know if he did or didn't.
I don't know.
But it puts him completely on the spot. I mean, it's brilliant stuff.
He said no, MSG.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. I'd love to see someone like she or others, a leader at the inauguration, which I'm going to, by the way. Thank you very much.
Oh, nice.
I'll be at the inauguration. I'll be at the ball and a couple of private parties.
Wow.
As a guest of Chuck Schumer. I took his tickets. Yeah. Chuck was like, I can't use these. You want them? I'm like, yeah. He's going to put them on StubHub, but I got them. No, I'm going.
Nice.
I got to get a tuxedo. Do we have any tuxedo sponsors, Damon, on the show? That we're gonna have?
Talk to Slick. He's got a couple.
Oh, Slick.
Slick could set you up to wear.
If you got a good
Slick
tux
should
for me,
pick out
Mick.
what you're wearing for that.
Yeah, I'll tie you in.
Oh man, as long as there's no batteries involved, I'll be good. I'll take it.
Good. There you go.
Still talking about the suit?
I do. Yes, I am. An illuminated suit.
All right, 13 to the hour, live from Studio 6B. Let's do a little more sports, a little more Vinnie Mac, a little more news. We'll try to get to everybody here. Slick, I'll start with you. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the code. What's going on?
All right, let's get to the scoreboard. We haven't hit the scoreboard tonight. We got NHL action on the ice. The Lightning lead the Blue Jackets 4-3, 2 to go there in the third. Hurricanes in Carolina blanking the New York Islanders 4-0, 11 to go there in the third as well. We got second period, end of 2, Devils down in the Blues 2-0. The Predators 1-0 over the Rangers, 22 seconds to go there in the second. Also in the second, 9 to go. Caps over the Blackhawks 2-0. Bruins and Flames, no score there, end of 1. Finals from earlier tonight, the Canadiens bombed the Sabres 6-1. Penguins edged the Kings in OT 3-2. And the Senators take on the Kraken. That's a 10 p.m. puck drop out west in Seattle. And the Jets taking on the Sharks in Do You Know the Way to San Jose, 10:30 puck drop. NBA, just one game going on right now, close one. Bucks 51-50 over the Thunder at the half. And well, it's a boxing theme. I could have gave you the story about Jerry on the radio early this morning, talking about how he prefers to eat squirrel over raccoon, Big D. But really, he should be eating crow with the season he put up.
They serve both of those over at the strip club. You know what I'm saying, Slick?
Jerry's he's losing. It's definitely off the rails. Like
hey, how about that? There wasn't there a big golf event today? Wasn't there a big golf event, the showdown between Bryson and DeChambeau and Brooks against?
Yeah, I think DeChambeau hit somebody's father in the head with a drive. Actually, there was some news about that as well. DeChambeau was out there. Let me see, I don't have that story right now. I'm not lined up, but yeah, there wasn't a match earlier tonight. I'll have to look that up. But let's get to the story. I had a little more boxing. Alexander Usyk over Tyson Fury the second. AI-powered judging to be used during heavyweight rematch. And I've seen it all now. Darshan Desai. Well, at least I'll have somebody with a pulse that's judging. Saturday's huge heavyweight rematch will have a fourth judge scoring the fight, albeit unofficially in a very different way. An artificial intelligence-powered judge will be programmed to score all 12 rounds of Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury 2, which promises to be a real clash. What is a groundbreaking experiment for boxing judge Turkai Alashiki announced Tuesday afternoon. The AI judge's final verdict will not impact the official result of the fight, but it will serve as a trial to monitor how accurately a non-human device can score a boxing match. Big D, you able to get that? Pull up that golf tournament? You look that up? Okay, so we got that's a big fight. I'll be previewing that Friday night, but that's a
big guys, man. They're huge.
That should be a monster bout. We'll see how that goes, but it's very interesting. AI. I'm curious to see. Imagine if they use that. Might be a little bit more impartial.
The punch count and all that could really matter.
Will be much more accurate. They won't be on the take like it has been. Over the years in the past. We've had a lot of issues with that as well. No, I wouldn't say that, right? Never in boxing.
Never.
We know that for sure. Let's see. Do I have that information on that tournament today, Big D? I do not. I don't.
How about Cody Bellinger getting traded to the Yankees? That was a big deal.
That was a good pickup for the Yankees, and they got some cash too to boot, which is very
$5 million.
Yep, very good.
All right, Slicks, they're very good. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the code. Vinnie Mac, anything else on your mind you want to talk before we wrap it up?
Yeah. I've got one other thing, and I got to watch my language here.
Please do.
I got to really, we don't want to go off, and I'm going to say something. They may have to beep it out.
Well, no.
Oh, you don't have that?
If you want to tell me where it is, I'll beep.
Yeah, all right. Dick Durbin.
Little Dick Durbin.
Yes, yeah. Dick Durbin. Dick Durbin, in his democratic genius that he is now pushing through, or trying to push through, legislation that eliminates the Electoral College. So the left lose the popular vote. So they want to eliminate the Electoral College and make it a popular vote thing. The left don't have enough judges on the Supreme Court, so they want to expand the Supreme Court. The left, basically anything, they don't have enough votes maybe in Senate, so they want to make a couple more states there with D.C. and others in Puerto Rico. Get a few more states. What Dick Durbin and the rest of his comrades there don't understand is...
Good word.
Thank you very much. We are a republic. We're a republic of 50 independent entities, states. The reason the founding fathers created the Electoral College was really to provide some parity to the slave states, the states after the war and all that kind of stuff. They wanted to have some parity and have a voice to less populated areas, and it was really during that period of time they created the Electoral College. So why is this important? It's super important because right now, and probably for the next couple of elections, the West Coast of California, Oregon, Washington is a huge population. They are infected with the left brain warp that seems to infect the people on the left. The population is so big, you can't have a popular vote without looking at those and saying it's going to be unfair to every other state. If you look at the map, the West Coast and the Northeast, they're blue. The rest of the country is red. So if you eliminate the Electoral College, you frankly diminish the power of a vote for states that have farmers, states that are smaller, states that have all these other things. And it's ironic that they're moving towards this, because if the election had gone the other way and the Electoral College went their way, but they lost the popular vote, what do you think they'd be talking about right now? So Dick Durbin's out chiming on this, and I think all of these senators need to understand a bit of the history of this country. Now, I got a lecture today from one of my liberal friends, Doug. You heard me mention Doug a few times in the past.
Oh, liberal Doug. I hate liberal Doug.
Liberal Doug. Yeah, he's a smart guy. He's book smart. He has common sense too, I guess, to some degree, but he's a hardcore liberal, and I'm getting a lecture from him about why the popular vote is just as fair as the Electoral College. And I just completely disagreed with him. And the points that I made to him were all about these states that should have a voice. His pushback was, well, why should swing states be able to determine an election? Well, the swing states, they don't really determine the election. It's the bundle of states that wind up falling into place. And these swing states at some point wind up pushing it one way or the other, but they don't determine the election if you don't have all these other votes in these other states voting for you. So I find it a bit sickening for these folks not to understand the history of this country and that we are a republic, these independent states. We're like independent countries within one organization. That's how the United States is set up. We're not set up in provinces like most of the rest of the world. We're not set up like in France. There's a province here, there's a province there. In Italy, there's Umbria, there's Tuscany, all these things, and it's one country, one vote. That's not how we're set up, and we're set up that way deliberately. So by pulling the Electoral College is really a slap in the face to all the things that was set up originally for this country. You guys have any thoughts on that? You have a strong opinion about the Electoral College or popular vote? I mean, do you care?
I mean, I don't even see how you can make the argument that the popular vote was in the Electoral College. I mean, if Doug wants the elections all elected out of California and New York, and I mean,
well, that's what he does.
That's exactly right.
They want the coast. They basically want the coast to decide it. Then I mean, that's what most liberals want.
West Coast and the Northeast, and if that was all red. Do you think they'd be having this conversation?
Of course not. No. This is whatever gives them power. We know that. So. Yep. All right, Delgado, any other news?
Yeah, this one coming from President Trump as he takes a brutal swipe at Justin Trudeau after the Canadians' top official exit. He mocked Trudeau in a scathing post on Truth Social following the shock resignation of Canadian Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland. I don't know if you heard about this.
I did.
He called calling the Prime Minister governor. He says the great state of Canada was stunned by the Finance Minister resigning or was fired from her position by Governor Justin Trudeau. He wrote on his Truth Social. He says it's great. She was toxic and arguing that she was bad for deals, which would be very good for the unhappy citizens of Canada. He also said she will not be missed. And Trudeau's feeling the heat. He could be steps from resigning himself. And it's getting ugly for him even just to walk the street here. Cut number 2 real quick. Check out a little bit of this as he comes walking out. Justin Trudeau, cut 2.
Prime Minister, are you going to remain in office?
No, what gives you the right to continue? What gives you the right to stay in office?
Thank you.
You failed Canada. You've ruined our country. You're done. Walk away. You don't have an ounce of your father's integrity. At least he walked in the snow. You've ruined this country. Everyone around you is running from you. You're abandoning you. Christian Freeland, Sean Fraser, they've all left you. It's time for you to go. It's time for Canada to have an election. You're not the king.
There you have it.
Oh, Canada. We salute our military, retired, active retired, all law enforcement, of course. All emergency personnel, all our truckers, all our farmers. Thanks, guys, on the show. Great job, Benny Mac. Great job. See you on Thursday. Aaron Frank, great job as always. Most of all, thank you to live from Studio 6B audience. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right here, live from Studio 6B.